basically that meant he was running stuff. Okay? For Kennedy and Harriman, the big issue in mid-1963 was Vietnam. Go ahead. Okay, there's a little Vietnam, skinny place there, and back in those days there was North and South Vietnam. North Vietnam was communist, South Vietnam was an independent country, which we tried to run. Now, consensus reigned. This is from a book called Choosing War, The Lost Chance for Peace and the Escalation of War in Vietnam, published in '99. He says consensus reigned in the East Coast establishment. Okay, that meant that the people, the billionaires, all agreed on what should be done. Okay. In late August 1963, as the United States, and here we want to read Harriman, moved to oust the South Vietnamese leader, Diem, it had backed for the last 9 years American officials, again read Harriman, always opposed to an early settlement and possessing an agreement with London to work to prevent one, had seen no reason to feel particularly fearful of the prospect. Now, the words here fly by nicely, but please note that London and New York agreed, we don't want to end the war. We want the war to go on. Okay? Anybody that wants the war to stop now, we're going to take care of. Okay? Now, notice that the East Coast establishment was in agreement with London about pursuing war in Vietnam, and therefore senior officials at the White House had no fear to proceed with overthrowing the elected government of our ally, South Vietnam.
Sounds like us.
Well, that's what Harriman decided to do. Okay? He was going to assassinate the president of a sovereign country. Okay? And use the CIA to do it. Without presidential approval and behind Kennedy's back while he was vacationing at Hyannisport, Harriman and his cronies cabled Henry Cabot Lodge Jr., the American ambassador in Saigon, to greenlight South Vietnamese officers to launch a coup to overthrow President Diem of South Vietnam. This is the infamous Cable 243. If you just Google Cable 243, a lot of this information and background will come up on your computer. Okay? Now, John Kennedy, when he got back from Hyannisport, was outraged. And in the ensuing executive branch furor over the August 24th cable, and this is August 24th, 1963, the same year Kennedy was killed, okay, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, pictured here, blamed Harriman for this major mistake, realizing that, quote, the government was broken in two in a very disturbing manner. I read his book, okay? When the Attorney General says the government is broken in two, there's something really bad going on, okay? It was because Harriman was one part of the government